Hello and welcome to my sacred space. I'm Olivia, and this is Tarot and Coffee with Olivia. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate you guys. I really have enjoyed watching my channel grow and getting to know you guys, and really surprised at how much I've really felt a true connection. And speaking of connection, there are lots of ways that you can connect with me. I'll have my link tree in the bio, but I also have it in the description of this video, so you can easily click on it and go directly to my website and book an appointment, or there's other ways to contact me and to connect with me, definitely. And don't be shy. You go ahead and do what you do. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Um, so I'm hoping this will take you to all kinds of magical places. Um, but I also want you to remember that you are in control of your universe. You are the one who's making choices. If something comes up in a day, in a reading, you have choices. You can go a different direction. This is just a meditation on how your day might go, or how it might have been if you're looking at the end of the day. So there's really nothing to be too worried or scared about, even though there will be some serious topics discussed. Um, and how do we do this? Well, I have my little card toppers here. Today I have minerals, crystals. I have this honey citrine here, the beautiful honey citrine. And then I have this beautiful rock, which I am definitely going to try to identify this rock and have it on the description in this video when I publish it. That is my goal. It's been too long. This is a fluorite of different colors. You can see some of the greens, turquoise colors, and then you can see some of the rose coming through here on the end. And then we have, this is a howlite, and I also like to call it my friend with many faces, because as you look at this being, this little howlite right here, you will see a ton of different faces as he moves around. It's just really great. I didn't actually notice that until one of you said, "Oh, did you realize it had a face?" And then I saw all these faces. Okay, so we are going to start with the honey citrine today. Oh no, we are going to have a little reading. It is from Ram Dass. It is from this book, but it's a little bit of a break because it's a poem by someone else. And if I can find it quickly, I will read it to you. If I can't, oh, I found it. You're not getting out of it this time. If I Had My Life to Live Over, it is by Nadine Stair. She was 85 years old when she wrote it, and she lived in Louisville, Kentucky, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. If I had my life to live over, I'd like to make more mistakes next time. I'd relax. I'd limber up. I'd be sillier than I've been this trip. I would take a few things seriously. I would take more chances. I would climb more mountains and swim more rivers. I would eat more ice cream and less beans, and I would perhaps have more actual troubles, but I'd have fewer imaginary ones. You see, I'm one of those people who live sensibly and sanely hour after hour, day after day. Oh, I've had my moments, and if I had it to do it over again, I'd have more of them. In fact, I try to have nothing else, just moments, one after another, instead of living so many years ahead of each day. I've been one of those persons who never goes anywhere without a thermometer, a hot water bottle, a raincoat, and a parachute. If I had to do it again, I would travel lighter than I have. If I had my life to live over, I would start barefooted earlier in the spring and stay that way later in the fall. I would go to more dances. I would ride more merry-go-rounds. I would pick more daisies. Yeah, I'm kind of doing that only tenfold most of my life. That's why I get in so much trouble. Now we're going to do the honey citrine. If you need more time to pick, please go ahead and take that time. If you want to take a few deep breaths and find your center. You can pause the video and go ahead and do that and then make your choice. And I am going to start with the honey citrine. We're going to, oh, I wanted to mention, I have seen these same cards again and again and again with you guys. Oftentimes that means, well, we're still on that. So here we have the Two of Spades or the Two of Swords. And again, here she sits. She's got her blindfold on, so she's having trouble seeing which way to go or which choice to make. Um, um, she also has the water behind her, so she is someone who can depend more on her intuition, and that's something I want you to do. I want you to um, see if you can practice intuition. See if you can, I don't know if you're meeting very many people today, or uh, if you can do this with a friend, you can practice saying, you know, over the next week, I want you to tell me in your mind to call me up, to call you. And let's see if I figure out when that might be. You might end up calling them all the time, but see if you can feel in your gut. If you already have someone that you do this with on accident, that's a good person to choose for this. But yeah, I want you to use your intuition, especially when making this decision. You've been on this path for some time, I believe, especially if you have had this card several times. Just remember that you can get information um, from anything you can, from all things possible. See how you can collect that info so that you can truly make a good choice in this. I don't really see either of your choices being a bad choice. It's just something that you are really have been putting a lot of thought into, and if there's some way that you can blend these two together and have a compromise, that would be good. But it looks like you've been sitting on this for a while, so so maybe take some extra time and glean your intuition and see if you can figure out how to intuit the right thing to do. And now we're going to pick up this stone that I'm going to find out what it is. Oh, look, see who we have again? There she sits again, yet again. She was up here yesterday. I don't know if you got her yesterday, but if you did, pay close attention. Joaquin and Boaz. These are the pillars on either side of the temple of King Solomon. And basically, I think Boaz is the one that, I think Joaquin is mercy and Boaz is severity. So she also has the Torah in her hand. She often is depicted wearing some clothing that would remind you of Isis, or a head, maybe, I don't think that's Isis headwear, but she is definitely someone who is, and I said this yesterday, she is tapped in vitally to the source of ancient knowledge. And I think at one point I was thinking that sometimes you have to be careful as the high priestess and remember your power and remember the effect that you have on people around you. You know, but they don't know how you know, and sometimes that doesn't sit well with you. But go ahead and be a little more patient with others and yourself, especially in this position of the high priestess. You know, I've heard it from a lot of the other psychics, and I do believe this is true. Of course, as I've said, I'm a believer, so whatever you can imagine is real. That we are entering a great awakening, or that we have entered and we are doing so right now. This card may have a lot to do with that. Specifically, I want you to tune into your psychic self. Go ahead and look at some YouTube videos or whatever you do, some self-help books, or use the internet. Go to Wikipedia, find out how to tune and tone your psychic energies and abilities, because you have a great potential with this card, with that. A very great potential. And maybe, I know I have failed to mention that, but since I keep seeing these cards over and over again, I feel like I need to take note and be a little bit more forthcoming with what this card has to say, um, for you guys. And I do stumble over that sometimes, but I'm learning. Every day I learn. No matter how long I do this, I learn something. So here, if you had the fluorite, here we have the Knave of Wands. He's also, I think of him as a little bit younger than this guy, but if you think of this guy as a youthful person, that's the right thing. He has no gray in his beard. Um, these this card is often, to me, it's almost like a go for it card. It's not quite as powerfully go for it as the Ace of Swords. This is more about your tools, um, because it's wands. It's less about swords and more about your tools and more about the things that you do that are mm, 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 that you are creative about, the things that you get around to creatively. You may be expecting a message. I do believe we have seen this card recently, again and again as well. Of course, I've been doing this every day, so of course they'll be familiar. However, if you're getting the same card again and again, that's something I would encourage you to go ahead and look it up on Google, see if you can come up with some other insights as to why you keep seeing this card. Of course, you can also book me and we can clarify too, with more cards and make a more in-depth reading out of this. Um, he was right side up. I don't think you're going to be hearing bad news. It looks like you might be getting an email or a letter, or sometimes it's just a feeling that you get when you get this guy. Start a new project, or maybe you're on a project. It's good. You go. Whatever you're thinking about doing right now, you feel really good about it. You feel really creative about it. It feels more like fun than work. That's the direction you're supposed to be going. That's what this card is about. It's about having fun, but also like something that you enjoy so much that you're willing to put your sweat and blood into it as well. You know, ardently. You love it. You just really love it. So keep going that direction. And we're going to turn over the Howlite of Many Faces. See, here's another card. You may not recognize it because it's I've been using a different deck, but we have been getting the Three of Swords a lot. And in a word, the Three of Swords is all about grief. I have been talking about a lot of things when we're talking about the Three of Swords, but what I really need to tell you about is grief, because that's what this card is. Just if you were just going to use one word, and simplifying it in a way makes it more profound. And so you're grieving. There's a reason that you're grieving. It is good to grieve. It is the right thing to grieve. We grieve all different kinds of ways. If somebody's judging how you're grieving, they don't understand what you need to do and where you're coming from. So you go with it. You take your time and you grieve. I can't tell you how to grieve or how long. There is no right or wrong. Everybody does it differently. And I'm going to leave it as simple as that, because I feel like, especially because we've been seeing this card again and again, that I need to just stop and say in one word, and to be okay with grieving. And I know it hurts. And I know a lot of people tell you it's going to get better with time, but that doesn't really mean anything at a certain point. It doesn't mean anything. I'd like to say something more encouraging, but with grief, we really, really do have to feel it and get through it. There's really no other way. A lot of people work through it. That's fine. Do what you do. And know that I am very much looking forward to visiting with you again tomorrow. I enjoy this so much. Um, it is so much fun for me, and I just appreciate so much you guys coming back. So please do. And until next time, let's say, until next time, I will hold you in the light and think of you in the most positive of ways as I do. All right, take care.